Hi everyone, this is Richard. In this video, let's talk about loops. So loops are an essential part of programming, but it's also an essential part of life. So what is a loop? A loop is when you go over something over and over again for a set amount of times. Well, it's for a number of times. Let's just put it that way. And there are several types of loops, the for, the for each, and the while. Let's just go over the for right now. When you think about life, anything that you do has to do with a loop, right? When you take a test, you go through the test and you might want to recheck the test. You recheck the test, and how many times you go back over the test is how many times you loop through it, right? If you just go through it once and you turn it in, it was a loop of one, right? But if you check it 3-4 times, if you're really have plenty of time, you check it 4 or 5 times. You may not check every answer, but you'll check the ones that you are not certain about, and then you go back and loop through. When you go to a store, right, you bring with you a list of things, of to-dos and to-gets items, and you go through the loop. And then either in your mind or on the paper, you go through the store and loop around. And if you miss something, you loop around again. So loops are very, very important for many, many things in life, but also it's reflected on programming also, okay? The first loop we'll go through is a for loop, okay? I don't know why it's called for, but just that's what it is. And this is the syntax, okay? It's the for, then open parentheses. It's usually a counting of numbers, and that's what the for loop is, okay? You start with int. This could be anything. Standard, most people use I in a loop, but you could use any number, anything whatsoever, okay? You could start with 0. You don't have to start with 0, but we'll start with 0 right now. I equals 1. So the integer I equals 1. And I also can go up to less than 10. Notice the semicolon, okay? Not a comma or anything like that. It's less than 10. So it's going to go through 10 times, right? Because there's 0 and it's less than 10. Not less than or equal to, it's less than. So it would be 0 to 9, which is 10 times, right? And then what I++ means, this is the initial value. It will go through the things in the curly brackets. After you're done going through the curly brackets, I will have the next value. What is plus plus? Plus plus simply means I plus a value of 1. So whatever 1 is 0, it will loop through. Next, I will have a value of 2. Next, I will have a value of 3, and so on. Okay? And once I has a value of 10, it's no longer less than 10. It's equal to 10. The loop will stop, and it will not continue to do the things right inside here. And in these brackets, we always say this is something where you do something. Here, we're just going to console.writeLine, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Start with the integer, something equals 0, and it goes from there. And let's see what happens. So it basically counts 0 to 9 like we thought so, okay? Like I said, does this have to be 0? No, it could be 2 or 3. So it'll start with 3. This can change also. This number has to be greater than this one, unless it's going to be a subtracting. You could put minus minus as well. What if you want to do plus plus plus? I think like 3. I don't know if that's possible. If you wanted to go by like 2s or 3s, I think I equals I plus 2 would be a preferable thing to do. I think that's the better way to do it. Again, like I said, it's been a long, long, long time since I've done anything programming before these videos. I think that's illegal. Yeah, that's you're not allowed to do that. So if you want to go every other odd number or something like that, every other even number equals I plus 2 plus 3, or you could change this any value at all. Okay, again, it can count down. This would be a higher number, and this would be a lower number, and this would be minus I equals I minus 2 or something like that. Okay, let's change it back. Then what happens is inside of here itself, it will print the value of I. And I think that's all we're really doing. We could do a number of things. We can add things more. We could subtract things, whatever. Okay, so that's the simple of for loop. I think that's all we really need to do. If you want to count everything up, you can say int j equals I plus I. Actually, I'm going to do something outside int j equals 0, okay? And then here I'm going to say j equals j plus I. Okay, what does this do? Why am I writing int here and not here? I will explain that the next video. It just occurred to me, okay? So int j equals 0, and then j equals the value of j plus the value of I. So what are we going to do? We're going to basically count all the values of I plus itself, adding itself together. So 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. Actually, what? I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to actually put it down here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm not going to print it every single time. I'm going to wait till the very end, see what j is, and at the very end print the value of j. So I'm only going to print it once. 45, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to plus 9. Okay? So remember what happens inside of here. This part gets looped. Once the loop I equals 10, the loop stops and it goes to the next value right inside of here. If I put it inside of the brackets, then it would be printing every time it goes through the loop itself. All right? What else can we do with this? We could do some other things here also. I'm going to say string h equals hello world. Right? I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to say, instead of int I, I'm going to say string I equals... No. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to go int I equals... I is less than h dot length. Okay? So what am I going to do? H is a string, so we can use object-oriented programming. The property length of this thing. So this will have a length, right? And this will be I++. All right, so it will count down every single part of it. So what can we do with this? So I'm going to say console.writeLine, CW, you just type DW tab, okay? And then I'm going to say H open brackets I. Okay. So what I'm going to do here again is string. I could use that as if it's like a list, right? So it's a string, but if I do this the straight brackets, H with the value of I will say H, the value 0 equals H, capital H, H1 is E, and it keeps going down the line. So what we'll do is it'll print out all the letters of hello world. We can do that too. And it goes hello world all the way through. Okay, so I hope that's clear what we just did. Int I equals 0 is less than the length of it. All right, so h dot length, and then we add I. So I still says properties 1 through. Still has the properties 1 through, I don't know, 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, actually, I should have just done this. So it's 12 plus a 0, which is 13. 1, 2, 3. Why is it starting with 1? Console.writeLine 0 H I. It's not printing the oh, there it is. I'm sorry, I have to scroll up. Okay, so it's WriteLine 0, and it keeps going down the line, printing both the number and the section, the letter that corresponds to it. All right, so that's the simple part of loops. And let's go on for the next one. Thanks.